Hey everyone, Sparks back with another Goddess Victory Nikke video, and I'm going to do an overview of this absolutely wild update we are getting and give you some things to think about. Some of this stuff frankly shocked me. A lot of it was stuff that I was expecting, probably a lot of us were expecting, but let's just get into it. Okay, so I won't go in order. First thing I want to start out with is actually with Rappy, okay? Because this is like the thing that we're probably all most excited for. This was probably the most expected thing as well. We're getting a new version of Rappy as our New Year's unit. Generally, we get a new pilgrim for each New Year's celebration, whether it be like Modernia, Black Shadow Scarlet, Red Hood, etc. Technically, we are not getting a Pilgrim because Rappy is a new class of unit called Overspec. Now, before you freak out, because I freaked out a little bit when I first saw this, I was like, oh boy, here we go. This inevitably happens with any gacha game. We get some like crazy next level rarity of unit. It's going to be like 0.00012% of getting them. I'm exaggerating, but you know, like it happens, right? But what really is happening here is that the overspec is going to be just a new naming of pilgrims. Okay, so overspec units are going to come in as a 2% increase on a rate up and then go to the normal 1% that pilgrims would be at. They will also be added to that normal banner, okay? So they're basically exactly like pilgrims, but since pilgrims are actually like an in-world class of Nikkes, I think they just needed a way to make like extra powerful, you know, rare units that weren't pilgrims, you know, in this case, an overspec or new version of Rappy. So they're going to have the same kind of things where they can go to affection level 40 as well. They're going to have those like, you know, higher kind of base stats because of that. So just, it's another naming of pilgrim. But anyway, so Rappy is going to be an overspec unit, and she uses a MG now, which is cool to see. You kind of get Modernia vibes when you see her like shooting. We barely got a really short clip of her actually in action, but has that super high rate of fire and a couple of really unique things about her. Okay, two pretty shocking things. The first one is that she is both a burst 1 or a burst 3, so not like Red Hood, who could be burst 1, 2, or 3, but she can be burst 1 or burst 3. So you can definitely see how they're trying to combine the influences of both original Rappy and Red Hood, and it'll be really interesting to see what her different burst effects are. You know, chances are, like with Rappy, we'll see her being played mostly as a burst 3. That's just my prediction. But hopefully she has a really strong burst 1 effect. Red Hood had an insanely strong burst 1 effect. It was the burst 2 that was like kind of mid, not that great, which is not a thing with Rappy at all. But anyway, the other probably even more shocking thing about her, which kind of flew under the radar because it just like said it in like little text down on one of the slides that they showed for like a few seconds, is that she's a dual element unit. This is a completely brand new thing we have never seen before. So she is going to be both an iron unit and a fire element unit, okay? Or at least deal damage to their weaknesses. So the wind and electric type. She's going to deal double damage to both wind and electric. As far as her actual typing goes, I don't know if she's technically going to be both iron and fire. Maybe she'll have like one like skill that will be like a fire type and another skill that will be an iron type. We don't know exactly how this is going to work, or if just everything will simultaneously deal both double damage to both elements. Who knows? But it's very exciting, and this is really definitely a next level thing that is perhaps going to set a precedent for things coming in the next year. We're kind of like notching up that little bit of power creep again, which honestly Nikke doesn't have that dramatic a power creep. We of course have had power creep, and that's okay. I don't think it's a problem, but we're seeing kind of that next bump up in the standard. And I wouldn't be surprised to see like all the quote-unquote overspec Nikkes have this type of mechanic. Although I say that, but now just as I've said it, I want to maybe take that back, because part of the dual element thing might just be the fact that she is both Red Hood and Rappy. So she has both that iron element from Red Hood and the fire element from Rappy. So we'll see. This might be something unique to her only. Let me know your comments, your thoughts below. I'd love to hear kind of your opinion on that. Anyway, it's going to be crazy. I'm super excited. Obviously, she's going to be an automatic max limit break, especially consider she's going to be at those low pilgrim rates, although we will get a little bit of help with those rates, as we'll see a little later on in the video. Anyway, we're also getting a Rappy story event. So this is going to be our New Year's event. Generally, these New Year events have tended to be flashbacks, so we're keeping with that theme. This is going to be a Rappy origin story. It looks like we're going to see like the mass-produced version of Rappy. I imagine Red Hood will probably be in the story quite a bit, which is great because, you know, Red Hood, unfortunately, is no longer with us, but we're still getting a lot of Red Hood content. She's one of my favorite characters, and it's cool to be able to see her more as well. So that, I'm sure, will be an amazing event and quality story as Shift Up normally gives us. Okay, so moving on, we're also getting a rerun of Black Shadow Scarlet. This is really good. Black Shadow Scarlet still remains one of the best DPS units in the game, probably like top 3. And if you missed getting max limit break of her, maybe go for that. If you're a brand new player, definitely pick her up. This is your chance to get her. She's super, super good, especially because you're all getting a free copy of Alice, and they are like the absolutely amazing combo. All right, we're also getting new skins. Honestly, these look a little mid to me, but you know, that's cool. More skins are good. Naga is getting a gotcha skin. I won't be picking this up. I'm a big fan of Naga's original look. I very rarely get gotcha skins. They have to be like really peaked for me to be interested. And the skin looks good. You know, I'm not gonna lie, it's nice. We also got New Year's skins, or maybe they were for Christmas, I don't remember, but for Blanc and Noir that were very similar to this, with the kind of fancy kimonos. So we're seeing this here with Naga as well. So if you're a gotcha skin person, go for that. I'm probably going to pass. We're also getting skins for Ein and Zwei, which are going to be the same kind of theme. They're looking kind of fancy, holiday-ish with those kimonos. Again, I'm probably going to pass on these unless they are in a pass. Didn't intend that pun, but it worked. You know, just because the passes are always good value. But again, I'm just not super into this look. I mean, honestly, like I wasn't like the original look of Zwei is kind of just basic schoolgirl as well. Ein's original look I actually am a fan of. Again, kind of the like school look, but a little cooler. She's got that rebel look to her. Anyway, point is, I'm not super into these skins, but you guys might be, and I know there's a lot of people who are just collectors of skins no matter what. So it's cool, we're getting some more content there. And if they come with passes, then it's going to be good value as always. Okay, now we're also getting our new round of favorite items. Finally, we've been waiting for these for so long. I really feel like they should have gone with the original release plan, but according to surveys and feedback, people wanted this, so we just have like a really long wait in between new favorite items for units. But anyway, we are going to be getting a new favorite item for Helm, Miranda, Drake, and Milk. The art on these looks really nice. Milk in particular is looking pretty fire right there. We don't know what they do yet. You know, I doubt they're going to shake up the meta massively. The favorite item Nikkes that we've gotten already have had some impact. Actually, Exia has seen some very valuable play in like competitive solo raid situations. The other ones have seen niche play here and there. Like, you know, Viper can end up doing a lot of damage, but you know, there's rarely an excuse to actually use her. Laplace is in theory really good. Some people use her in tower. You know, they're all kind of strong. They all bring something to the table, but they're just like, they're not, unless you're already a fan, I've said this before, don't feel like you need to upgrade them to get the favorite items. But anyway, we'll see what these units are like. Miranda has had kind of a warm place in my heart. She was the original Snow White supporter, so we'll see if I end up getting the favorite item for her. Drake is super funny. Helm was our first banner ever, and like I said, Milk is looking pretty spicy there. So we'll see what they're like. Anyway, the next thing we are going to get is a new wish list update this is really cool. Like I said, we're going to be getting some help with those pilgrims, those low rate units. We can now wish list pilgrims and overspec units. So again, overspec is just another name for another type of pilgrim, basically. This is really, really good because the library of units is getting so big at this point, and there are so many different pilgrims that, pilgrim molds are always a huge risk. Actually, flashback to a recording of a pilgrim mold that I just opened yesterday.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah, so we need some help with those pilgrim molds. And your boy always has crazy luck with the molds, but this one failed me. I think this is the second one that I've failed on. I know there are a bunch of people out there who have failed on like almost all of them. So anyway, point being, getting some more help with these, pilgrim rates is going to be greatly appreciated. So being able to wish list them is going to be really nice. And again, it also applies to overspec. Okay, big update as well, or more info on the Union raid, I should say. So Union raid changes. If you haven't already heard this, there is a big change to the format of Union raids. And now we finally have details on what this is going to look like. And this is starting on December 26th. Okay, so day after Christmas, or depending on what time zone you're in, might just be on Christmas, which kind of a whatever L decision there, shift up, but whatever. Anyway, so Union raid. So it's going to start as normal. So we have those 10 levels of bosses that you'll go through, the 5 different bosses, and then normally it was previously beat on like time, how fast you beat them, and then you get a ranking based on that, and then you were just done. Well, in this case, now we're going to go through those 10 normal levels, and then once you complete them, after you finish it, the next day a hard mode will be available. And it's only going to be available for one day, but whatever day you finish the normal mode on, in the higher ranking unions, such as mine, it's going to be on day 1, of course. We usually finish in like 2 hours or less. And so then the next day, we're going to have hard mode. So once hard mode is available, then it's going to be based on the total amount of damage. So it looks like there's going to be no specific time crunch either way. And I have a few thoughts on this. So let me just clarify this again. So you have the normal union raid that we would have. Then the day after whatever you finish that on, the next day, you'll have 1 day of hard mode available. Now, your ranking will be determined on, 1, the day that you finish the normal mode on, okay? Not the time. It's only going to factor in, according to this anyway, it's only going to factor in the date that you finish it on. So there's no crazy time crunch to try and get this done. As long as you finish it in the first day or the second day, like whatever your union is shooting for, within that day, you finish it. And then between all the unions that finish on that date, it's going to look at the total amount of damage you do in hard mode, okay? So if there's like a tiebreaker or whatever, it's going to then look at that hard mode score. So in my case and other high-ranking unions, you're going to finish on day 1, probably in a couple hours, although you can be a little bit more relaxed since we don't have to worry about how much time we actually finish in. And then the second day is going to be all about doing total damage. So the more damage you can fit in, the better. So there's some positives and negatives to this. The best thing about this is that we don't have to stay up super late into the night, depending on what time zone you're in, and frantically try and go in and quit out, and it's no longer just like kind of a race situation. You just need to finish in one day, and then you have a hard mode where you can actually think about and strategizing and do some restarts and really try and do the best you can on each boss. Okay, so these are great improvements. The downside to this is that this becomes even more of a hardcore whale mode now, because when you're just looking at total damage, whales will have a huge advantage. So unlike in solo raid where your level is capped, you're still going to have an advantage there as a whale, of course, because you can have like all cored out units and whatever, but at least your level is capped. In Union raid, there's no level cap, okay? So however much you've managed to level up, however much you've spent on core dust or whatever, you're gonna have a huge advantage in this type of scenario. So, people have brought up in my community Discord that like this could turn into kind of a like battle for like recruiting the biggest whales in your union. I would just like to make a statement on this. I don't think that trying to poach other players from other unions is a healthy game environment. Now, some people will say, don't hate the player, hate the game. This is just kind of the environment that is now created. And so, some of these like top 10 unions or whatever are just going to do whatever they can to get the best possible people, aggressively recruit them, try and steal them from other unions, maybe bribe them, who knows what. But I would just like to say that I will not be doing that. I'm the union leader for Just Do It. I really value the people in my union, and I know that they know I respect their time, I respect their effort, and we've been building something together. And I think having that sense of like pride and community in your union and doing what you can do based on the resources you have and through like honest effort is really valuable. And I encourage other unions to not just turn it into a who can gather the most people together who spend the most money. So honestly, that probably won't make any difference. It's going to happen anyway. Shift Up, I think you're trying something good here, but also something to think about. Maybe you could, do something to mitigate a little bit of toxicity that may result due to this new format. So just keep that in mind. I know the community managers watch my videos, maybe pass on the thoughts there. Anyway, overall, I think this is a good change, and it makes union raids more in the spirit of what they were originally. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. We are getting a bunch of little quality of life updates. So this is pretty cool. Again, this was kind of just in like a really quick slide here that they showed. We're getting simplified sim room. We don't know what that means, but cool. It's going to make it faster. Maybe we can just like one tap to go through whatever levels we've already completed, and then we can just not have to go through each stage. We're also getting the quick battle for solo raid, which already had, but we still had to fight it like one time every time, and then we could quick battle the next two. I'm guessing this is going to make it so if we beat that previous stage, we just never have to actually fight it again. We can just quick battle every single day for all of the attempts after that. But just my speculation on that. We're also getting simplified daily missions. It says that we're going to get like some more rewards, combined rewards, simplified kind of missions. We don't know exactly, but anyway, anything that makes dailies better for veteran players that have been doing this for years is definitely appreciated. And then step up recruitment for Nikke of your choice. So this is pretty cool. We're going to get to choose an SSR Nikke and then do a step up for it. We don't know exactly how this will work, but I think we can probably all assume how this is going to work. This is really good for pretty much everybody. I think that's pretty cool. Let's keep that coming. I want to say we got this last year. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah. Either way, that's going to be cool. And then gem packs for your first purchases are going to be reset. So those big packs of gems, if you're a whale, if you've purchased those, the first time you get them, you get double rewards, and after that you just get like a small bonus. So you're going to get double rewards on those again. So cool. Okay, moving on. We are getting 100 polls during this event. That's pretty cool. It's a lot of tickets, a lot of polls, and of course they're all going to be different kinds of polls. You can see there's some variation in the amount of tickets here, but still the generosity still overflows from Shift Up. We appreciate it. 100 polls is a lot for this event. Okay, now for the biggest surprise. I didn't see this coming. I don't think anybody saw this coming. Like, I would be shocked if anybody predicted this at all. Evangelion Part 2 is coming in February. This is wild. Okay, you guys know that I am a huge Ava simp. This is like a dream come true for me. I know the Ava collab wasn't the most popular with some people, and it was also extremely popular with other people. And if you look at the regions, the popularity of it also varied quite a bit. I think in the West it didn't do as well. In Japan, it did really, really well. So whatever you're thinking on this is, I think that getting collabs in general is cool. It shows that the game is really healthy. And again, I always have said this, Evangelion fits so well in the world of Nikke, and I just think this is super cool. And it's so rare to get any type of like rerun of a collab, and this is not a rerun, this is a part 2. But getting like another collab with the same IP is wild. You almost never see this in any game, but I'm super excited for it. The units look pretty cool, so we are getting a new version of Asuka, and this time she's going to have the eye patch. This was something that was really requested in the first round. We were like, oh, why didn't we get eye patch Asuka? And we thought that maybe the gotcha costume would have the eye patch, and she didn't, but now we're just getting a totally new version of her with an eye patch, and then 2 costumes for her, so that's pretty cool. I wonder if it's going to be like a free one probably, and then like one in a pass, just like before. We're also getting new version of Rey, this time in her black plug suit. This is definitely a good look. You will only see this if you've seen the new movies, which the collabs are based off of. The black plug suit is pretty cool, and then she of course is also getting 2 costumes. We get one of her when she's just trying to learn how to be a human. She's farming, super cute and charming. Farming and charming rhymed. And then another like beautiful one over here. So definitely I'm excited for that. And then we're getting SR Sakura. She's the class rep from when they were in school, and then as they grow up, she is just kind of like living there in that little outpost where they're trying to rebuild. So she's a bit of a more minor character, although you see her more in the show than you do in the movies. But it's cool. I would have never expected to see her in this game at all. You could tell they were looking for like another free SR character to give us, and they're like, what's another girl in the show? Although I would have thought that, oh man, why can't I think of her name? The blonde scientist. But she would have been probably the next choice rather than Sakura. But whatever, that's fine. It's cool. We're getting another free unit. And then Mari, unfortunately, it does not look like we're getting another version of her. Although we might be thankful for this, that we're only getting 2 limited units rather than 3, because that was kind of a strain. Everybody was like feeling it on the last version. But we are getting 2 new costumes for Mari. So definitely looking forward to that. I will be picking these up, of course. And Mari is still a really, really useful unit. Even though she was kind of crept by Grave, Mari is still used in pretty much all the raids so far in high-level teams. So Mari still has a lot of use, so it's cool to see more costumes for her. And yeah, I'm excited for all of this. We're also getting a new event map, of course. Probably the weakest thing about the previous Eva collab was the event map. It was like not much to it. This time we're getting the like post-impact world that's flooded with LCL, and we like go around on a ship and whatever. It looks crazy. So that's going to be cool. Also, new mini game is going to be a top-down bullet hell mini game. Definitely a favorite for like arcades, and just like the difficulty on this can get insane. We'll see what they do with it. The bosses look really cool, how they did them, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And this is also something that I think can work well for both mobile and for PC, which is really important to keep in mind for these mini games. So that's really cool. And I know there's a lot of fans out there of Bullet Hell, and I think this is the perfect type of game that fits for a quote-unquote mini game. We're also getting a new version of the boss. So he's getting a new coat of paint. We'll see if he gets any new mechanics or not, but a new like upgraded version of him. This raid was a lot of fun, and I expect this one to be fun as well. We don't know if this will be a solo raid or just like a new event boss, or both. We'll see. But anyway, it looks cool either way. And then at the very end of the announcement, we got a teaser of long-haired Rey. If you haven't seen the movies, I won't spoil it for you, but long-haired Rey is very significant. Yeah, I guess I can't really say anything else. But what do you think this is? Is this a gotcha costume for Rey? It doesn't give us any info. Is this another unit, like an overspec unit version of Rey? I mean, that would be kind of crazy if it was. Imagine first Pilgrim rates of a limited character. We can hope that's not true. But like, why show us this? There was little text in the lower left that said available as wallpaper. So is this just art that they're just like, hey, long-haired Rey? But then that just feels weird. I don't know. Let me know. What do you think this is? My prediction is this is probably some type of skin for her. I don't know. Maybe it's just art. Maybe it's just art. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on it. But either way, I just thought it was interesting that they just kind of like threw it in there at the end. Like, hey, here it is. But no other like real info on it. Anyway, so that was shocking. Really, really crazy. Thank you, Shift Up. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below, because I know people are going to have feelings about this one way or another. Okay, the next one, Stellar Blade. We knew this was coming eventually, okay? I've been talking about this for forever, ever since Stellar Blade came out. We even got that launch art for Stellar Blade with Eve holding hands with Rappy. This had to come eventually, and sure enough, we are getting the collab. Now, we assumed this would probably be a springtime collab, because normally the sort of like smaller collabs, the pattern has been that they're in the spring, and then we get a big one later on in the fall. Now, we kind of thought Stellar Blade would probably be the springtime collab, but it looks like, you know, we're getting like February, probably late February. We're getting the second part of Ava. And so Stellar Blade will probably be in the fall then. We could expect it maybe in like September-ish, something like that. But that's really cool. Getting Eve is a massive win. I can only assume we will be getting some of the other characters as well. Let me know what your speculation is. I think the two other characters we're gonna get are like pretty obvious, honestly. But we'll see what that's like. I don't want to like say too much about it, but there are 3 other characters that it could potentially be. Maybe we'll get all 3, and then we'll have like 4 total Stellar Blade characters for the collab. Anyway, we just got this little teaser video. No info, no date, but it just says coming soon, and I am super excited about it. This is going to be more automatic maximum breaks for me. I have streamed Stellar Blade. I have a lot of bossing videos of my fights on my channel of Stellar Blade. Go ahead and check those out. If you don't know much about it, check it out. But this is something to be hyped for. This is really, really cool. Okay, we're a couple last minute things here. They also announced new figures. So we were getting freeing 1/4 figures of Bay and Clay. They look amazing. This is like of their limit break art, basically, showing a lot of underbooba there. This is almost enough to convince me to get these, but unfortunately they're 1/4 figures, which means they're going to be, you know, like 1.5 feet tall or something, and I just don't have space for that. I mean, I got my case back here, and I have committed to only collecting either 1/6 or 1/7 figures. Even Mesmer up here, he's not that big, but his spear is too tall, and so he can't even like fit in the actual glass. But anyway, they look great. I'm sure a lot of people will pick those up, although freeing usually has crazy prices. But anyway, cool that we're getting more figures. Nikke figures are always cool. And then very at the end here, they also announced an IRL Nikke event. We're getting another one. This one is going to be at Animate in Torrance, California, in the mall on January 4th. Yo, we are eating good here in California. I mean, they've done a lot of events elsewhere, like in Canada, other parts of the US, also a bunch of things in Japan, as well as I think they've done them in Singapore, other places that I'm sure I don't even know of. But we've gotten a lot of ones. We just recently had the one at Jingfu Tang, the boba pop-up event. I made a video about that as well. You can check that in the description below if you're interested. So I will, of course, be attending this. I'm going to show up crazy early, knowing what they've been like in the past. It's gonna be interesting because it's like a store in the mall, so we'll see like how they deal with like crowd control in that situation, because they're probably gonna get a line going out past the entrance to a bunch of other stores. So we'll see. I don't know, but anyway, anytime there are IRL Nikke events, I'm hyped for it, and hopefully any of you guys who are kind of in the area will be able to attend as well. But let me know, what were you most excited for this Christmas / New Year's live stream? This was wild. This was way more info than I was expecting. I thought it was just going to be like Rappy, and then maybe like a rerun of Black Shadow Scarlet, and probably like a few other minor announcements, like the quality of life things that we got. But we got so much more, and it is, I don't know, this is a good time to be a Nikke player. If you're new, if you're thinking about getting into it, this is a really good time to get into it. All right, I will catch you guys. Oh, please sub if you haven't already. It would really help the channel out. And I also do Girls Frontline 2 videos as well. And I'll catch you guys in the next video or stream.